Welcome to the X Project Podcast. This is a podcast of the X Project Substack. To subscribe, please go to thexproject.substack.com. Principles for dealing with the changing world order. Why nations succeed and fail. A summary of the book written by Ray Dalio, 2021. Article number 24, published January 11th, 2023. In this podcast, the X Project will answer these questions. First, why this book and what's it about? Second, who is the author? Third, how popular is the book? Fourth, what is one of the top takeaways from the book? Fifth, what is another top takeaway? Sixth, what is the third top takeaway? Seventh, what's the fourth top takeaway? Eighth, what's the fifth top takeaway? Ninth, what does the X Project guy have to say? And as always, 10th, why should you care? Section 1, why this book and what's it about? In an era where the tides of global economics, geopolitics, and social dynamics are shifting more rapidly than ever, Ray Dalio's Principles for Dealing with the Changing World Order, Why Nations Succeed and Fail, emerges as a critical guidepost. Why this book? Simply put, Dalio, a renowned hedge fund manager, offers a master class in understanding the complex interplay of factors that dictate the rise and fall of nations. This book isn't just about the dry analysis of economic trends. It's a riveting exploration of the cyclical nature of history, enriched with Dalio's in-depth research and experiences. At its core, Dalio's work dives into the intricate relationships between commodities, demographics, economics, and geopolitics. He examines how government debts and deficits, alongside interest rates, markets, and money, interact in a symphony that either elevates a nation to success or plunges it into failure. His approach is methodical, yet accessible, blending historical data with contemporary analysis, making it a must-read for anyone intrigued by the forces shaping our world. Section 2. Who is the author? According to Amazon, quote, Ray Dalio is the founder and co-chairman of Bridgewater Associates, which, over the last 40 years, has become the largest and best-performing hedge fund in the world. He is the author of the #1 New York Times bestseller and #1 Amazon Business Book of the Year, Principles. Dalio has appeared on the Time 100 list of the most influential people in the world, as well as the Bloomberg Markets list of the 50 most influential people. He lives with his family in Connecticut, end quote. Section 3. How popular is the book? Here are the book's rankings on Amazon. #1 in economic history. #1 in macroeconomics. #2 in international economics. Customer reviews, 4.6 out of 7,167 ratings. This book is by far the most popular of the 20 most influential books of the X Project. Furthermore, Dalio narrates a 43-minute video that covers the key ideas, principles, and themes of the book, and the video has been viewed over 45 million times. Section 4. What is one of the top takeaways from the book? The cyclical nature of empires. The cyclical rise and fall of empires form the backbone of Dalio's analysis. He draws from the historical trajectories of the Dutch, British, and American empires to illustrate a pattern of ascendancy, dominance, and eventual decline. This cycle begins with strong leadership, innovation, and economic growth, leading to a period of global influence and prosperity. However, as these empires reach their zenith, signs of overextension appear. Dalio highlights how these signs include military overreach, economic imbalances, and internal social strife. The cyclical theory posits that understanding these stages can help predict the turning points in global power dynamics. The concept of empire cycles also sheds light on the present global scenario. For instance, the rise of China, juxtaposed against the relative decline of the long-standing power of the US, can be contextualized within this cyclical framework. Dalio's analysis suggests that these shifts are not aberrations, but part of a predictable pattern of global power realignment. This cyclical view provides a crucial lens for interpreting current geopolitical and economic developments, offering insights into potential future trends. Dalio identifies 3 big cycles plus 15 additional determinants that drive empires' cyclical rise and fall. The 3 big cycles are the big cycle of money, credit, debt, and economic activity, the big cycle of internal order and disorder, and the big cycle of external order and disorder. Section 5. What is another top takeaway? The power of debt cycles and money printing. Dalio delves deep into the mechanics of the big cycle of money, credit, debt, and economic activity. The focus on debt cycles and the practice of money printing by governments is a theme with profound implications in today's world. He explains how nations, in their quest for growth and in response to economic crises, often accumulate significant debt. This indebtedness can reach a point where governments are forced to print more money to meet their obligations, leading to currency devaluation and inflation. The relevance of this theme is starkly evident in the contemporary context, where many countries, most notably the United States, face ballooning national debts exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic and other economic challenges. Dalio's analysis warns of the potential consequences of excessive debt and unrestrained money printing, which are, first, currency devaluation and inflation. When a government prints money to manage its debts, it increases the supply of currency. This can lead to a devaluation of the currency as its purchasing power diminishes. This process often leads to inflation, where the prices of goods and services rise, reducing individuals' real income and savings. Second, economic instability. Excessive debt and the subsequent printing of money can lead to economic instability. The immediate relief provided by money printing can mask underlying economic problems, delaying necessary reforms and potentially leading to more significant economic issues in the future. Third, loss of investor confidence. Investors tend to lose confidence in economies with high levels of debt and a tendency to print money unchecked. This loss of confidence can result in reduced investment from domestic and international sources, which can stifle economic growth. Fourth, increased interest rates. Over time, to attract buyers of its debt, a government may have to offer higher interest rates. Higher interest rates can lead to increased borrowing costs for both the public and private sectors, slowing down economic activities and investments. Fifth, wealth redistribution effects. Inflation caused by money printing disproportionately affects different segments of society. It can erode the value of savings, particularly impacting those on fixed incomes or with cash savings, while potentially benefiting debtors by reducing the real value of their debts. Sixth, global economic repercussions. For countries with significant global economic influence, such as the United States, excessive debt and money printing can have international repercussions. It can affect global trade, exchange rates, and financial markets, potentially leading to global economic imbalances. And seventh, long-term structural weaknesses. Persistent reliance on debt and money printing can lead to structural weaknesses in an economy, making it more vulnerable to external shocks. It can hinder the country's ability to respond effectively to future crises. Section 6. What is the third top takeaway? The big cycles of internal and external conflicts. Dalio's book brings to the forefront the issue of growing internal and external conflicts and their role in shaping the world order. He points out that internal conflicts often arise from disparities in wealth and values within a country, leading to increased populism and political polarization. These internal rifts can weaken a nation's cohesive strength, making it vulnerable on the international stage. Dalio's analysis includes the rise of political extremes and social unrest, which are often precursors to more significant societal and political shifts. On the international front, Dalio discusses the emergence of new global powers and the resultant geopolitical tensions. He examines the dynamics of rising powers challenging established ones, using the example of the growing rivalry between China and the United States. Fueled by competition for global influence and resources, this external conflict can lead to shifts in the global balance of power. Dalio's insights into these conflicts are critical for understanding the current international landscape and the potential for future shifts in global leadership. Section 7. What is the fourth top takeaway? Technology and education as pillars of national power. Dalio identifies technological advancement and education as key drivers of a nation's global standing in his book. He argues that the capacity for innovation, fueled by a strong educational foundation, is a crucial determinant of a country's competitive edge. This perspective is grounded in historical analysis, showing how leading empires leverage technological superiority and educational excellence to dominate globally. Dalio posits that these factors are instrumental in an empire's rise, enabling economic growth, military strength, and influence. Dalio's focus on technology and education is incredibly pertinent in the current era, characterized by rapid technological change and the knowledge economy. Nations leading in technology, such as the United States and China, demonstrate significant economic and military prowess. Dalio's analysis suggests that maintaining a competitive edge in technology and education is essential for national success in the 21st century. This insight is crucial for policymakers and educators as they shape the future of education and innovation policies. Section 8. What is the fifth top takeaway? The importance of effective leadership and adaptability. One of Dalio's key takeaways is the critical role of effective leadership and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances. He underscores that the success or failure of nations often hinges on the quality of their leadership. According to Dalio, good leaders can recognize the signs of their times, understand the cyclical nature of history, and adapt their strategies accordingly. This adaptability is crucial in navigating the complexities of the changing world order and ensuring national resilience. Dalio's analysis extends to the concept of governance. He suggests that nations with robust, adaptable institutions and governance structures are better positioned to handle internal and external challenges. This insight is particularly relevant in an era of rapid change and uncertainty, where traditional approaches to governance and leadership may no longer be effective. Dalio's work implies that leaders and institutions must evolve to remain relevant and effective in a world characterized by constant change. Finally, Dalio emphasizes that leadership and adaptability are calls to action for current and future leaders. It suggests that understanding history and learning from past cycles are key to effective leadership. This perspective is important for political leaders, business executives, educators, and social leaders. In a world where change is the only constant, Dalio's insights offer a guide for navigating the future with wisdom, foresight, and flexibility. Section 9. What does the X Project guy have to say? This very well-researched book has a tremendous amount of data and knowledge backing up his theses on cycles and the other determinants that drive the rise and fall of empires. His conclusion that the United States is an empire in decline was unsurprising, especially after reading This Time is Different, 8 Centuries of Financial Folly by Reinhart and Rogoff that the X Project covered in article number 5. What was surprising was Dalio's overall optimism for China. While it is no surprise to anyone that China witnessed some of the greatest economic growth any country, especially of its size, has ever encountered, I was not expecting the inferred conclusion that China's upward trajectory would continue. Here is an excerpt from the output of Dalio's computer-generated reading for China as of August 2021 that is based on hundreds of statistics related to the 18 determinants. Quote, China appears to be a strong power, number 2 among major countries today, in rapid ascent. As shown in the table, the key strengths of China that put it in this position are its strong economic and financial position, its infrastructure and investment, its importance to global trade, its high economic output, its people's self-sufficiency and strong work ethic, its high level of education, and its strong military. The 8 major measures of power are somewhat strong today and are, in aggregate, trending sharply upward. In particular, China's importance to global trade, its innovation and technology, and its importance as a financial center are increasing. End quote. This outlook for China is very different than Peter Zeihan's outlook for China, which the X Project will cover in the next article. The X Project has covered Zeihan's first 3 books, The Accidental Superpower, The Absent Superpower, and Disunited Nations, in article number 7, article number 12, and article number 18, respectively. However, to find Zeihan's views on China, you must go to his YouTube channel where he covers China in multiple different videos and presentations. It should be evident by now to subscribers who have caught up with all of the X Project articles. Dalio's book continues with the general themes that the next decade or 2 will be very different than the last few decades, with growing risks and probabilities of financial crises, conflicts both internal and external, wars, and other geopolitical conflicts. In the final section, I will reveal Dalio's probabilities for a U.S. civil war and a direct military war with China, along with other reasons why you should care about this book and its conclusions. However, you must now be a paid subscriber to view the final section. In a few articles, the paywall will move up within the article so that only paid subscribers will see the last 2 sections. All paid subscriptions starting in January will come with a free 30-day trial, and you can cancel at any time. Every month, for the cost of 2 cups of coffee, the X Project will deliver 10 articles per month, that's $1 per article, helping you know in 1 to 2 hours of your time per month what you need to know about our changing world at the intersection of commodities, demographics, economics, energy, geopolitics, government debt and deficits, interest rates, markets, and money. Section 10. Why should you care? First, thank you for your paid subscription and support in continuing the X Project's mission. In addition to sharing my articles and podcasts with friends, you can also support the X Project by hitting the heart icon below to indicate you like the article. And if you don't like this article, then please share your feedback with me at thexprojectguy@gmail.com. Now, why should you care? Dalio is number 42 on the Forbes list of richest people in the world, and his fortune is self-made. In recent years, he has been writing books, doing interviews, broadcasting YouTube videos, and publishing papers and research on his website at www.economicprinciples.org. He is genuinely philanthropic in his efforts to share his knowledge. He is highly analytical and not someone prone to emotional or sensational claims. And so it is quite sobering for him to state the probability of a U.S. civil war is 30% within the next decade. 30% is quite significant. His big cycle on internal order and disorder that is driving this prediction is similar to Neil Howe and William Strauss's The Fourth Turning, which the X Project covered in article number 3. When it comes to the probability of a military conflict with China over the next 10 years, Dalio recently in November put the probability at 35%, which, he said, is a step down from the brink of war. However, he noted that, quote, there is a shifting to a different type of war, end quote. In his book, he outlines 5 major types of wars that he learned from history. 1. Trade/economic wars. 2. Technology wars. 3. Geopolitical wars. 4. Capital wars. And 5. Military wars. To those he then adds 6. Culture wars. And 7. The war with ourselves. Clearly, we are already engaged in all but the military war with China, and we are in the early stages of those wars that will continue to be fought for years to come. He points out that the technology war is the most important because whoever wins that war will win all of the others. And this brings me to the last point of his to share. Despite these cycles and despite empires rising and falling, evolution is on a generally upward slope that generally benefits broader societies. He is very optimistic for the benefits of artificial intelligence and quantum computing for society. He claims that those two technologies will be to traditional computing what the computer was to the abacus. Thank you. This concludes the X Project's podcast number 24. Please subscribe to the X Project Substack at thexproject.substack.com.